Thank you for coming to Compass Starlight. This is going to be a midweek check-in. Let's see what kind of energies we'll be dealing with for this midweek, for the rest of the week. This is the Mantegna Tarot. It is a deck of archetype cards. We had the card Misery fly out. First and foremost. Alright, I'll take that one too. Calliope. There was one that appeared in the pre-shuffle. Let's see if it comes out again. That may be it. We have 3 more goes. Well, okay then. We have Misery, card number 1, Calliope, card number 11, Terpsichore, card number 13, and Geometry, card number 24. Let's see what we get from the Oracle. This is the Starseed Oracle. The Starseed Oracle. We get an Oracle card or 2. Let's see. What kind of motivation or inspiration can we get from this oracle? Some kind of support, some message of support or inspiration. I remember. Let's see if there's one more. Anything else from this deck? We get Child of the Cosmos and Portal. Okay. Squeeze these over here. And then the third deck on the table is... what is it? It is the Neon Rider Tarot. Let's see if we can get a few cards from this deck. The card Misery is the archetype for dignity. Remain dignified even in adversity. And then Calliope is the archetype for psychology. Understand the origins of your sadness. Yeah, well, I guess if you are feeling miserable, or if there's something in our lives that makes us feel that way, we should try to understand what is behind those feelings. Then there's the card Terpsichore, card number 13. That is the archetype for nimbleness. Dance with everyone to understand them better. We do have 2 spears in these cards. That are symbols of the moon, in this case, the full moon. Dance with everyone to understand them better. That's typically where I want to stop. Let's see if I get one more. Do we want any more cards? Okay, that's it for that one. All right. And then this last card, Geometry, here is the archetype for strategy. Always weigh carefully the forces at play. Card number 24. These two I see to be a bit similar. Always weigh carefully the forces at play and dance with everyone to understand them better. Everyone is going through their own struggles, as perhaps this card Misery represents struggle. Dance with everyone to understand them better, and always weigh carefully the forces at play. So what kind of forces might be at play? I think the card that I pulled up in the pre-shuffle was Uranus, an influence of a planet. So we also have the influence of the full moon here. Are the stars influencing our lives at this time in some kind of way? Mercury is retrograde. That could be a force at play. But everyone is kind of going through their own struggles, and often that motivates people or forces people into their own agenda, and we kind of have to navigate around that. You get a better understanding of the places from which people are coming, or their perspective, when you get to know them better, as this card suggests. And Calliope, again, was psychology. Understand the origin of your sadness, and misery, again, was dignity. Remain dignified even in adversity. This is to say that when you come upon frustrating situations, if you can try to keep your cool and not lose your head. So let's take a look at the Starseed Oracle cards here as well. I Remember is the first one. This card says, Soul Plan, the fated life versus the destiny life. There was a moment before you were born when you chose the conditions of the life you're living right now. I've always believed that. It was like picking your struggles that you would have to grow throughout the course of your lifetime. And I also felt that when I was in line, so to speak, to get my assignment and make that declaration of the conditions of the life I'm living now, I could hear those conditions of the spirits or souls around me while we waited for this lifetime to begin. Anyhow, when you plotted out these exact moments along the timeline of your life, yes, that is the sentence. So there was a moment before you were born when you chose the conditions of the life you're living right now. When you plotted out these exact moments along the timeline of your life. We live in a world of free will, and therefore these moments become our destiny only through saying yes. The fated life is the one we were born into. The destiny life is the one our soul chooses, and it takes courage and faith. If you pull this card, it's because you're likely now face to face with the choice to follow the destiny life over the fated life, to trust the path your soul is calling you toward, and to remember that this moment was prearranged on your life's timeline. You may find yourself at a crossroads, at a moment when you're being called to make a decision, to keep walking the perfectly laid out path before you, or choose the one less traveled. You may be facing a change of career, a new relationship, a difficult decision, or something else that requires courage and faith. You're being invited to remember your soul's greater plan and to surrender to it. When you're confronted with a path that's undefined, it's normal for doubt to rear its head. In fact, this is a certain sign that you're facing your soul's greater plan. Every hero in his or her life journey comes eye to eye with doubt. The only way around it is through it. It's all part of the larger plan. What are you being called to do to surrender to your soul's plan? I know precisely, I believe I know precisely what it is in my life that this card points to. Hopefully, if this resonates with you, you as well know what kind of decision or what kind of path, choice you are looking at this time. The next card is Child of the Cosmos. This card says, intelligence of the universe lies within you. There's a mysterious force that governs all life, an intelligence that tells flowers when to bloom and the tides and seasons when to come and go. That intelligence is within you too. It was there before you drew your first breath, and it will be there well beyond your last. It's the part of you that informed every cell what to do when you were in your mother's womb. It's harder to resist this force than it is to surrender to it, because Earth is a planet of polarity and free will. It's easy to forget that this intelligence exists within us. So that's about trusting your intuition. So often we become disconnected from the pulse of life and fall into the pattern of believing that we're separate or feeling that we need to go it alone. We can feel isolated and as if we need to figure things out for ourselves, to rely on our own strength. You're being called to remember the intelligence that within each and every one of your cells, to remember that you're a precious child of a loving, gentle universe, that you have access to all of the intelligence, wisdom, strength, flow, and qualities there ever were, are, or will be. And to remember that if flowers know exactly when and how to bloom, then you do too. How can you surrender more deeply to the intelligent flow of life? And then finally, we have portal. This card says, doors are opening, you decide. Rewards, wild card. Doors are opening for you. Your thoughts are extra powerful for you right now. Planets are aligning. The timing is right. The universe is saying yes. You have the Midas touch. Your hard work is being rewarded. This is a time when you can reap the rewards for efforts made in the past. It's also a time when you can achieve a lot. Great leaps can be made. Extreme transformation can occur. Great distances can be traveled in short space of time. You're swimming with the cosmic current of life. What experience would you like to have? What do you want to create? What new adventure would you like to manifest? Don't lose focus. Use this moment in time wisely. Be conscious and clear with your emotions and thinking. Projects that you've been working on are coming to fruition. Things are in full bloom. It's time to take your harvest and taste your well-earned fruits. When this card comes up in a spread, it's a sure sign that effortless change is possible. If you've been looking for a sign, this is your portal into that new reality. Now is the time to make big changes. If you've been guided to switch things up, you're extremely well supported right now. Use this energy and jump right on in. What would you most like to experience? So with that, I'm just going to pause here a bit and reflect on these cards that we've gone over so far. I will say, in terms of the experiences that you would like to have, where would you like to jump on in? I did miss a few days of readings because I was doing some traveling and pursuing some experiences that I wanted to have in my life, one of which was going to see a hot air balloon festival. And I hope to do more of that in the future, but you can find some photos of that coming up here soon on that Instagram page for Compass Starlight. And then I also wanted to connect these here. So this card talks about making decisions, things that are opportunities ready to present themselves for you. And these other cards here talk about the choice and the path and making decisions. We do have that here with the Lover's card, which traditionally was known as the choice. And this card here, the Two of Swords, which also depicts an individual trying to make a decision, covering their heart in a stance of protection. and not quite knowing which way to choose, which direction is best. We can get back into these cards here, but how do these connect to the Mantegna Tarot cards? This one, I believe, was considering all the forces at play, and this one here was about dancing with everyone to understand them better. And these other cards here touch on that inner knowing of forces at play, the divine plan, the path, the choices, the journey that we chose before we even were embodied on this planet. And choosing between that which is familiar to us and sort of cut and dry, laid out, easy. Do we continue on that path, or do we take a risk and leap off with a leap of faith into something new that seems like the destiny path? These cards do play a lot into that. How do the perspectives of everyone else play into your choices? How can you navigate your own path better by understanding other people? How can you navigate the paths by understanding all the forces at play? And what are the strongest forces within you? What is it that moves you most powerfully? And back here, we want to again reflect on having dignity as we make our choices and we make our push forward with the force of enthusiasm. We want to make sure that we're not overstepping our bounds with our enthusiasm, right? We don't want to get out of hand, overeager, angry, pushy. And here with Calliope, to harmonize that which is within, to harmonize the plan and figure out what feels best so that we can understand the origin of our sadness, make a line in the sand and leave that in the past, leave that in whichever path we are going to leave, instead of bringing it forward into the path, along the path with us on the new journey, whichever path that is that we decide to choose. So taking a look at these tarot cards here, we have the Page of Pentacles, the Fool, the Lovers, the Queen of Swords, the Ten of Pentacles, and the Two of Swords. Now, the Page of Pentacles is a message or offer of stability, safety, structure. It is a slow-moving offer, but it does portend to wise investments, seeds that planted now can germinate and yield something great in the future with this Ten of Pentacles, material abundance. It requires us to take a leap of faith to make that jump, as would the Fool. He is an individual who considers the risks at hand, consider the forces at play, and yet chooses to make the risk anyway. We have the Lovers here, which is a choice to make. They do play hand in hand, and it is also a potential for a new love relationship. We have the Queen of Swords here. This is a protagonist who knows their mind well and is not afraid to execute their will, their intellect, speak their mind, share their opinion, be the driving force behind their own motivation, as opposed to someone who is constantly seeking advice from others. This is an individual who knows their mind, trusts their intuition, and makes decisions from that point. The well-educated, clear vision of the Queen of Swords. We have the Ten of Pentacles. This is a strong foundation in the material world. This portends to stability and structure, potentially financial stability. And then we have the Two of Swords here, which is a decision, this or that. The protagonist is blindfolded, so it would seem does not have clear vision as to the best way to move forward. But we are being asked to trust our intuition in the directions that we choose. There's a reader out there who often says this or that, but there's actually a third choice in the background you just can't see. So we need to be open-minded to alternative solutions to problems, and probably think outside the box a little bit. Don't be so confined as the blindfold would imply. Okay, let's take a look at this Visconti Tarot, these cards that came out. I think we went like this. We have the Seven of Wands, we have the Four of Wands, we have the Two of Cups, we have the Ten of Wands, and the Lovers again, and the Ace of Pentacles. Interesting. Interesting that we have the Lovers twice. This is a card that depicts two very different individuals coming to an agreement and sharing cups with one another. Oh, maybe they're not sharing cups, but they are shaking hands. They are coming to an agreement, and this agreement is sort of blessed by this angel. Interesting, the angel is blindfolded, blindly going into an agreement. Very interesting. I'm not quite sure about that. It's basically a meeting of minds, however. Yeah, that's very interesting. And then we also have this Page of Coins, the Ace of Coins. So here's the Page of Coins offering a seed, offering a potential for new investment, a new opportunity that can yield material fruit, if you will, in the material world, something that builds a strong foundation and security. The page is offering this very pentacle. So that's fortuitous that this appears here. We also have the Two of Cups. So the Two of Cups is a card of, that is a card of two people coming together and finding agreement. Generally two people who are very different coming together in agreement, and often this is a card depicting a love relationship, but that's not always the case. So what's interesting here is we have the Seven of Wands, which can be standing your ground, having struggles but still standing your ground, and that may be something we see with the card Misery, that remaining dignified even in the face of adversity. As a result of being able to remain dignified here, we have the Four of Wands, and that is a completion, a satisfaction. It can denote the marriage. It is a celebration. It is also like crossing the threshold or crossing a finish line. It can also be seen as going through a portal. There is a celebration associated with this card from having made some kind of completion, closing out a cycle. The Two of Cups then, if it is marriage, that could be the meeting of minds, or that closing out a cycle and celebrating a completion brings you into fortuitous opportunities that we will find emotionally satisfying. And then we have the Ten of Wands. That is a burden, but perhaps the burden is lifted by these auspicious elements here in this reading, as you can finally lay down that burden, those 10 wands. So that's a very powerful reading for the midweek check-in. This is an encouragement to make some decisions to move forward, to trust your intuition, to get a better understanding of yourself, behave, and also take into consideration other forces at play, including other people and what motivates them. With an understanding of other people and their agenda, how can you move your agenda forward from collecting this or taking up this offer of stability and turning it, taking a leap of faith, turning it into a long-term stability here? That's the message I get for the midweek check-in. Thank you for coming to Compass Starlight.